G'day guys, MFWest here, and we are back. It's been 6 months, I think, since I last posted a heroic jailer kill commentary, and a lot has happened in those 6 months. Here's a little hint of what has happened in my life in the last 6 months.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
She's absolutely changed our lives, and we love her so much. And she's been such a good baby. I cannot complain. Been getting sleep, been getting parental leave as well. So yeah, I think things have turned out pretty good. I've been playing WoW pretty much, basically raid logging for the last 2 or so months. So I've completed all the Mythic Fated content raids. Haven't really dabbled too much in M+, just because there's no real reason to do it besides IO. And Unholy's finishing on a high. I think we're one of the strongest DPS classes in the game right now, due to all the external factors like Gavel, our 4-set, interactions of Soul Reaper and our opener. But I mean, I have my closure with Unholy and Shadowlands. It's been okay. This expansion hasn't really gripped me like I think that's been the case for a lot of people. And honestly, let's stop talking about Shadowlands. Let's talk about Dragonflight, because I was basically on parental leave, and in the early stages, early months of with Bub when it was announced and everything. So it's been really interesting just to kind of keep track of it on the side. And I'm extremely excited for Unholy DK in Dragonflight, and that's what today's video is going to be about. Discussing 2 or 3 of the builds that I see are probably going to be the strongest builds that we can play for PvE content. I'm going to make a separate video for PvP. I haven't tried solo shuffle yet, but yeah, I've played. I've got some very good commentary and gameplay for you guys. So I'm going to be sharing that with you for sure, and just kind of walking you through my thought process of why I think these talent trees are going to be the foundation for what we actually play in Dragonflight. Because yeah, I think I'll go over some of the talents that I think make the talent, like the spec, and we'll go into depth about that, and then we'll go through and talk about the commentary, and I'll walk you guys through how I absolutely pumped this Gambit. But yeah, without further ado, let's get stuck into it, guys. Alrighty, guys. So this is the build that I'm going to play in the actual video. And disclaimer: I am Maldraxxus. My covenant is Maldraxxus for the video as well. There are 2 variations of this disease build. You've got the Maldraxxus and you've got the Night Fae. The trees change depending on what you want to play. Personally, Night Fae is way stronger, and I'll go into that in a second. I'm just going to discuss the Maldraxxus one. Now, what makes this build so potent? Alright, quick shout out to Biceps on Wowhead. So I've taken this build straight from Wowhead, and I'm just going to explain to you guys why I think it's so strong. Now, the main key elements of this build obviously are Super Strain, making it a disease-centric build. Unfortunately, the reasons why this build is so strong right now in Prepatch is because of Shadowlands' abilities and items. By that I mean the Anduin Ring. The Anduin Ring is making this build absurd, okay? Like, it's making the disease damage ridiculous. I have a mythic Anduin Ring, and holy crap, does this thing make a difference in keys. Virulent Plague with this build will be your top damage by a long shot. Like, it's ridiculous. And the reason why this build is so strong: Unholy outside a Dark Transformation and a Bomb Limb hits like a wet noodle. It does. We try to make up for it with Bursting Swords and Infected Claws in the current Shadowlands patch, but unfortunately, it's just not good enough. Okay, so we now have consistent damage, a consistent damage source to pump in keys. We already know we pump on single target because of army, and this is just making us a more well-rounded DPS. Okay, that's why I love disease-centered builds. I know the damage is consistent. Okay, so that's a huge one. Obviously, morbidity is great. Again, there's all these little modifiers that are affecting our diseases, so that's great. That's great as well. We have the Eternal Agony, which is increasing our Dark Transformation window. yeah, it's okay. Um, Ebon Fever, again, making our Virulent Plague deal 15% more damage. Now, there is another external factor that we're forgetting about, and that is, like, for example, the Lingering Plague Conduit, an additional 10% on Virulent Plague, again. So you're kind of seeing where this is going, guys. You've got the Anduin Ring, you've got like 3 different talents, and then we have the most absurd talent, in my opinion, that makes this build so well-rounded, and that is Plaguebringer. Now, I don't track this, but I do think if you want to min-max your DPS, you should be tracking this via a weak aura. Okay, so you want to be weaving in Scourge Strikes in your windows to keep this basically occurring. You want your diseases to be basically occurring 100% more quickly every 5 seconds. So every 5 seconds, you basically want to weave a Scourge Strike. Um, it's just so strong, guys, and I can vouch for this build. I've done quite a lot of keys with it. It is very, very fun. You've got Epidemic if you want to use it as well, by all means, and you've got Unholy Blight. So you've got an easy way to spread your diseases without worrying about pressing Virulent Plague before going into your damage windows. And because we are the Moldraxxus Covenant for this, I think for the Gambit, having Slappy Hands really suited the big pulls, because remember, a Bomb Limbs does massive damage on large centered pulls. You've got the utility as well in here with Blinding Sleet, and you have 2 grips, 2 Death and Decays, 2 Death Advances. So I think you've kind of got everything that you need here to help with the group in total. So a very well-rounded build. Hey guys, really quickly before we get into the actual commentary, just wanted to mention this is the build that I'm going to show you in the commentary coming in a few seconds, but there is an alternative Night Fae disease orientated build that I want to make a separate video on because it has so many different elements to it that it's just too much to go over in this one video. But this is the build that I recommend if you wanted to start out on DK and give it a go, like this is probably a good start for a very well-rounded Unholy DK disease build. And I didn't actually explain, but the diseases that you should run for this build, legendaries that you should run for this build are the Monstrosity Drapes legendary, and then your typical Unity legendary. I'm running Scars in this video and a Stun Grenade, okay? They pair quite well, and I get some pretty fat Scars as well, so because the beach is like such a long period of time, I think you can get like 2 or 3 Scar explosions in there, which is really good. The Anduin Ring is a must, okay? And that's pretty much going to be it, guys. In terms of what conduits I ran for the actual key, I was Moldraxxus, and I was Plague, Deviser, Marilith. I probably was running at the time Lingering Plague, obviously for the disease damage. I believe I was running Embrace Death and probably Abomination's Limb conduit as well, so those 3. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be the build. Let's get straight into the commentary, guys. Let's go. Alrighty, guys, so let's get straight into it. So first pool, it's a big one. It's like arguably, I think 2 or 3 packs put together with Lust. You're gonna see me basically pop my gavel, find that stupid little shit, kill it. So now I have the gavel effect, and then I'm gonna go in there, make sure I have my diseases spread, and pop down Dark Transformation and Powder and Weapon D&D, and just go to fucking town. Now, because of the multitude of targets here, I am going to choose to spam Epidemic, a Bomb Limb as well, and you're just going to see me skyrocket to the top of the meters here, and that's just due to a combination of things. Unfortunately, due to being a Tyrannical, we cannot see like a prolonged period of time effect, but I think Unholy would pump here because of the Gavel effect being a minute, and then, multitude of targets, disease, ramping, and epidemics. Like on this little mini pack here, we're just going to see me absolutely annihilate it. And this is literally just, that is just my gavel, pretty much, and epidemic, 80k. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, keeping track of my Scars weapon, Scars Trinket as well. It's got 2 procs, so yeah. Again, Dark Transformation's coming off cooldown really fast as well, which is nice. So I'm saving my cooldowns here for the next opportunity. So we go into a double pull here pretty much. So I Dark Transformation, and I'm going to spam Epidemic here again. And I'm just doing insane amounts of damage, guys. Like, the ramps from diseases is so much. And I'll make sure to show you guys the breakdown at the end of the dungeon. And you're going to basically just see Virulent Plague being a dominant source of our damage. which is awesome. And honestly, like I'm getting army back very, very quickly as well. I could have almost armied again before the first boss. Okay, so this is with no cooldowns at all on this pack here. So this is just D&D, epidemic spam, and making sure that I'm weaving in skirt strikes to pock that Playbringer. And 50k is very reasonable without any actual cooldowns or anything. So that is like the Anduin Ring is carrying us pretty freaking hard here, guys. So make sure to remember to weave in your skirt strikes. I do need to get a weak aura to track that Platebringer debuff. This is a big pull. So unluckily, I do have a bomb limb for this, but I don't have Dark Transformation. But it's going to be really close to coming off cooldown as I frantically epidemic to try and get it off cooldown and pop it. And it's going to a double pull. Scars is about to go off in 1 second, and then boom, Scars goes off, annihilates the mini Murloc pack, and does like 800k damage or something, which is why Scars is just hilarious, a hilarious trinket. So we're getting the most bang for our buck here in terms of damage. So I'm getting all my damage sources off at good points in the dungeon as well. So yep, again here this is no cooldowns, just doing casual, 30k is alright with D&D and spamming, and I pretty much now have Army of the Dead back, as well as Dark Transformation and Unholy Blight. Now, I noticed I had Army, so I just pressed it, because I know I'm going to have a backup before the first boss, which is pretty funny. And again, just killing these mobs here. I have heard Tazenik on the Dicker Discord mention you're only meant to Epidemic on more than 4 targets, so there you go. I don't know if that changes due to different talents, but I'm pretty sure I understand where he's getting that from. But yeah, 4 targets seems reasonable because Deathclaw is so strong and has the ability to cleave. But on the beach, you're going to be epidemicking in this build anyway, most of the time. Most of the time anyway. So double grip is very handy for those stragglers as well. Really, really awesome. This next pull, I'll have Gavel, a bomb limb, and everything up basically, and Empower Room Weapon. Like it's a huge pull. This pack space that's going to get annihilated. So the fish stick dies, and we're going to pretty much kill off this thing here. Unfortunately, my thing is glitching, but we're back. So yeah, hopefully the tank does a pretty fat pull here. I'm pretty sure he does. And we're going to do, I believe, or maybe it might just be the single pull, but like this is pretty crazy. Ideally as well, you pop the soul fragment before you go into the pool so you can just get it, but like look at this, the upfront burst damage just from a bomb limb as well is absolutely crazy. I don't even press Empower Room Weapon and the mob gets one shot. Final rune goes off. I'm going to skip the invis to the first boss, and again with this build you don't have Gargoyle, which is unfortunate, but that will be different come Dragonflight. You actually will. I think Gargoyle will make up for our lack of single target. But even with this build still has insane single target damage because of Army, a bomb limb, and it's just like really, really good damage. So like look at this, the mobs underneath the boss, and I'm just cleaving them with death coils. It's just great, pumping them. So honestly, this build still has good single target, and you're always going to have Army of the Dead available to you on every boss because of Army of the Damned. So it's not bad. We will always be a good source of damage for bosses on Tyrant weeks, and on Fort weeks they're just a joke anyway. So yeah, this boss is pretty annoying. At least we have grips to grip in the ads, which is nice. And yeah, just doing my normal rotation here, keeping up diseases, we're scourge striking to pop wounds, and yeah, honestly, really really straightforward. I really do need to get a weak aura. Oh, by the way, the bounty buff that I'm using is Mastery. I do think Mastery is our best. For this build specifically, Mastery is probably very strong. I'd argue Haste must be bloody close. With other builds, it does change. But I did take Mastery this key, so we'll see how that goes. Boss should be dead here. I believe we kill it before he does another phase, which is nice. 23k DPS. From all the keys that I've done with pugs and stuff, unfortunately we don't. That's really sad. Most pugs are doing quite low. Like if they're very heavily or AoE orientated, they're doing quite low single. I think Unholy's like in that middle ground where you have both. You can do both sources of damage, which is nice. So I've saved all my damage here. This is probably one of the second. Oh, it's a pretty bloody big pool. So Gavel, a bomb limb, Unholy Blight, Dark Transformation, D&D, Epidemic Spam, just watch my damage. 140, 150. It's just gone. Like the pack's gone. It's absolutely been freaking annihilated. What? It is ridiculous. So we go on to the beach, double pull here, Dark Transformation's almost back off cooldown. Unholy Blight, Dark Transformation, D&D, and I'm going to weave in my Scourge Strike as well as Epidemic. And look at that damage, guys. It is beautiful. I sidestep the frontal, and this mob is basically... The double pack is dead. Really strong, guys. Like, just Unholy Blight and Dark Transformation, I'm pretty sure I would have the Gavel effect still as well. And, 80k. Like, this damage is so strong. Yeah, it's really nice. And you'll notice, like, I always have Dark Transformation and Unholy Blight available. We pull this in with the boss, because why the fuck not? And, I have pretty major cooldowns coming up in 20 seconds. Army's up. We're going to do that, and we're just going to burst down this pack here underneath the boss, which is freaking awesome. This boss is kind of annoying. Having double disadvance for this boss is freaking amazing. I cannot wait to see the interactions that disadvance have in the new dungeons. Unfortunately, I haven't been on beta to test them, but I'm sure, it's going to be freaking sick. So 50k, 60k DPS here with my cooldowns. Really pumping. Unfortunately, just out of melee range here. Gripping one of the ads, I believe he sidesteps the freaking frontal. What a good chat ad. And we're just pumping this boss here. So it is Hiram week, so the boss is going to live a bit longer than I would like, but hey, it's okay. We're not being chained, so I'm saving my death's advances as much as I can. And I mean, that is some seriously respectable... I know there was some cleave involved at the beginning of the fight, but that is some seriously respectable single target cleavish damage. So... very strong. Unholy is looking freaking awesome in Prepatch. But you know what? We're going to keep that on the down low to an extent and just kind of right under the radar. And I think Blizzard know, like, a lot of classes are going to be affected by some of the Shadowlands, factors, which will make them OP. So they'll kind of neglect some classes being ridiculously broken. I don't think Unholy is ridiculously broken, but we do have a lot of Shadowlands things affecting our damage. So they have to take that into account, I think. Alright, so down goes the captain, and we're going to do a double pull here with everything up. Get my freaking gavel, power room weapon D&D, with a Scourge Strike in, and off we go to freaking Wonderland. And 200k! Oh my god, that's not even a final rune. That is just 200k damage. Absolutely fucking insane. This is not even like Bursting Swords Festamite build, which I think would do the most amount of damage for a large amount of packs. This is just like a bomb limb, disease damage, and me Scourge striking to proc Playbringer with Gavel. It is so absurd. Like, I'm sure this Warlock and DH just like, what the fuck am I witnessing in DK? And it's not that broken. It's just we have things that are affecting our damage. Yeah, this whole part of the whole front section of the boss is just gone. So yeah, that was really fun. That damage is actually insane. This is why I also like the Abomination build, because Abomination's Limb is a lot of damage. And we do have conduits that can increase this damage, so why not have fun with it while we can? Because we're going to lose that in Dragonflight. So on to the boss. I have Army available, which I don't think I'm going to be able to use for Lust, because Lust is only up in 6 minutes, so I finesse it in the hope that I get another Army if the boss goes long enough. So, yeah, Dark Transformation, and I'm going to burst down these mobs here, which get absolutely annihilated anyway. And, oh, there goes a little cheeky Darkness. But yeah, pretty much straightforward here. Nothing too complicated with this rotation. In terms of my cooldowns coming up, I've got Dark Transformation that coming back up soon for the next set of ads. I'm trying to work to get them up for the next set of ads that spawn. But it's going to be bloody close. And I have a Bomb Limb for this set of ads as well. So I finesse that, Trinket, and everything's up basically. These ads will be one shot. Here we go. They're just like already dead. 40, 30, 20, 10, and they're dead. Yeah. So we're going to phase here. And Army's already at 5 minutes, 5 minute cooldown, so we're pumping that shit really fast. Go behind my thing, kick the druid out, or kick the healer out from going to my spot. You just gotta stamp your authority down, don't let him get it, and back onto the boss we go. Unfortunately, only Dark Transformation and Unholy Blight in 8 seconds. Now, you pretty much want to be using them. Obviously, you guys know this from Shadowlands. Unholy Blight and Dark Transformation should always be used in tandem. You don't want to be using them separately at different and disjoint in their cooldowns. Generally, that will pretty much be how it works. Things might get a little bit more spicy when you're throwing Gargoyle and a Bomb Limb, but for the most part, they've kind of rounded off our CDs, so they should all roughly be used around the same time. They're not desynced like they are in Shadowlands. Like, Shadowlands, I swear, was a freaking formula to figure out when to use what. It's a lot more straightforward in Dragonflight, which is really good, because that's just ridiculous to have all these different types of cooldowns. Couple people getting hit by these lovely shooting stars, but not MFWest. We're focused here, guys. We're focused. So I move out early because I'm a freaking wheelchair, and I head over to my star. You could probably AMS, but I don't have it available there, so no damage mitigation for me there. And then we're back on boss. 2 minutes left on my Army of the Dead, so I'm probably going to actually get another army, guys, which is insane. Like, getting 2 armies in one fight is hilarious. And this just goes to show, like, because they the amount of like the talents that are affecting Death Coil and reducing its runic power cost, you can just get more Death Coils out, which means you're going to lower the cooldown of your army a lot more. And we're seeing like ridiculous army times, like 3-minute armies, which is really good. So armies back up as the boss dies, and I spam it and I get it. So I can technically say I got 2 armies in like a 3-minute something fight. So there's the overall 42k DPS, guys. Now that is absurd. I'm going to pause it when I actually hover over the damage profile for the dungeon, and we're going to have a quick look and see what my top damage was, and just have a quick discussion about it. That is nuts, by the way. That's really insane. I haven't seen many classes do this much in most keys, so pretty good to get that amount of damage out. And now let me just see if I actually go to have a look at my damage. I should go in a second. Come on, MFWest, have a look at your freaking damage, mate. There we go. Alright, so hopefully it clicks it. There we go. Alright, so Virulent Plague has done 10 million damage. It's 22% of my damage overall. Now, a Bomb Limb, I think, is very high, naturally because of the amount of mobs we have on the beach. It's going to do insane amounts of damage. I think I'm getting the most out of a Bomb Limb that I possibly could. Frost Fever, even after the nerf on Dragonflight Beta, still up there in 4th. Unholy Blight doing insane amounts of damage, 2 mil. Unholy Pact, because the mobs were so dense and closely packed together, Unholy Pact doing a lot of work there as well. Final Rune saw 1 million damage, and just a well-rounded kind of damage profile there, minus Virulent Plague probably. But just remember, like, for the disease-oriented builds, this is pretty much how it's going to look. A very widespread kind of damage profile. Obviously, Virulent Plague won't be as strong come Dragonflight, but yeah, for the most part, that is going to be our damage. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't done something like this in a while. I am going to do this more as well. There's 2 more builds that I want to cover and that I want to make videos for. Please give the video a thumbs up, hit the bell notification if you want to know when my videos popping off, and I've got so much content to pop out, guys. I'll try my best, and yeah, please pop some ideas for videos that you would like to see in the comments down below. Thank you very much, guys. Have an awesome weekend or weekday, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.